Hi there, and in this session we will be seeing what exactly is DOM, which is Document Object Model, and how can we manipulate the DOM. How do we interact with the DOM elements and nodes? And then we will wrap up the session with a very interesting and engaging demo, which is about movies. So we'll be creating a movie web page where you can see the list of movies. You can search for these movies, and we also can add a new movie and delete a movie. So these DOM manipulations we'll be seeing for a movie web page. So what is DOM? Document Object Model. It is the data representation of the objects that comprise the structure and content of a document on the web. So this DOM is a programming interface for HTML and XML documents, and it represents the page so that the programs can change the document structure, style, and content. DOM represents the document as nodes and objects. This way, programming languages can connect to the page. A web page is a document. The document can either be displayed in the browser window or as an HTML source. But it is the same document in both the cases. The Document Object Model, or DOM, represents the same document so it can be manipulated. DOM is an object-oriented representation of the web page, which can be modified with a scripting language, very powerful language like JavaScript. DOM is usually represented in a hierarchical tree-like structure. So you can see this picture onto my right, where you can see a HTML element, which will be the root or the parent element. And it has two child elements that you can see. One is the head, and then we have the body. Head consists of the metadata, like title. It also consists of script and style tags. And body comprises mostly of the content of the web page. So in this example, you can see a H1, which is a heading tag. We also have another element, which is the list element that you can see, which is an unordered list, which consists of two list items. Now, these two list items are the child elements of this particular unordered list, and these two comprises of the child element of body, which in turn is the child of the root HTML parent element. So we have a parent and child relationship that you can see over here. And when we speak about events later in the module, so you can see like how the parent can handle the child event, or the child can be able to manipulate the events of the parent element via JavaScript. So we can use JavaScript to perform different tasks of DOM manipulation, like traversing the DOM. You can read the text, or the HTML text or inner text, or whatever property value which is present in the form of the element, inside the element or a node. So you can do a read operation basically, or you also can edit or update something. And we also can add new element. We can delete the existing ones. We can change the style. So we can do all these manipulation of this document object model using just JavaScript. So all of the properties and methods and whatever events that we have available for manipulating and creating pages, and these are organized into something like objects. So the document object that represents the document itself, the table object that implements the special HTML table element, DOM interface for accessing HTML tables, and so forth. So the entire DOM, if you see, it's like object reference, object by object reference. So what is the power of JavaScript in manipulating this DOM? So we'll see the perspective of JavaScript now. So using JavaScript, as I told earlier, so you can add elements or nodes, or you also can remove the HTML elements or nodes that we see in the structure. But this is just not HTML elements or the content. even you can manipulate the style. So you know cascading style sheet or the CSS, which represents the theme of a page. So for a web page, the theme or style is very, very important. So the HTML represents the content and CSS represents the style or theme, and the JavaScript is the core functionality or the feature of a web page. So these three things are like a trinity of a web page or website. These three things complement each other and go hand in hand. So just with your JavaScript, so your content is definitely important. Content is king for any particular website or system. So content is mandatory. It has to be there. So without content, it's nothing. But style is also very important. So if you have to attract your first-time customers, so you can attract them only with a very nicely styled theme or design. So this UI and UX design plays a very important role to attract your customers. So after attracting your customers, so these are just not enough. It is also important to provide good features. So your customer is now trying to shop from your website. So he is so attracted by your design, minimalistic, beautiful design. So he starts shopping. And after that, at some point or the other, he is unable to put items in the cart, or he is not able to contact you via some contact form. So these are provided by your JavaScript or some JavaScript packages like jQuery or Angular or React. So this is very, very important. So the functionality and feature, if you don't provide it, of course, you're going to lose your customer. So your JavaScript is so important and powerful here that, so I was saying that using your JavaScript, you can add a whole lot of HTML content. You can, from scratch, you can add styles also or change the existing style, not just the font and color. You also can completely change the spacing, padding, alignment, everything. So the entire theme, style, and content you can change via JavaScript alone. And coming back to your events. Now this is very important part of JavaScript. This is the place where the user interacts with that web page or website. Say for example, in the form of a form. So you have a registration form or a contact form. So using these forms, so where we have these input elements like a button, we also have a lot of text boxes and check boxes. So using all these input elements. So we can get the input and we can interact with the user. So the user can click a button and he can select something, he can blur, or he can get into some particular input element, but by gaining some focus. Now all these are done in the help of some triggering points, which is called as events. Now we have these event listener, especially for older browsers. And these events are nothing but some triggering point which can trigger some actions. Now these actions are termed as functions or your handler for that particular event. So to put this in a very simple layman form, say for example, someone is ringing the bell, your doorbell, and you're getting up and you're attending the door. So you're opening the door and checking who is it. So in this scenario, so someone ringing the bell is the event. And you getting up and going and seeing, so who is it, and accordingly responding. So that would be the function. So that is the action. So that particular event, doorbell ringing, has triggered you to do or take some action, which is your function. So we will see more about this event. So in this project, we'll have a lot of events and we will also be handling those using some functions and actions. So what next? Here in our project, so in this demo that we will be seeing, what are we going to do? So what is the takeaway? So what can you expect out of this? So you can see this screenshot. So this is the web page that you will be creating. Now this web page, as I told you earlier, It is a movie website. So it's like a movie web page. It's a single page that we are going to create. And you can see a list of movies to watch, some latest movie. So you also have some red color buttons to your right. So these buttons so here it is written as delete button. And there is also a green color add button over there, which is at the end of the page, where you can input some movie name and you can dynamically add it. Now all these we are doing via JavaScript. So you can statically add it also using your HTML. But in this particular example, so we are going to use JavaScript to dynamically add a new movie. And if you want to delete those movies, we are going to delete that also. So this is what we are going to see as an example. And in this demo application, so wherein you can create these details of the movies. Now I have to say something here. So I have styled this using CSS, but we will not be going in depth into the CSS because that is not in our scope, but I will walk you through the code that I have written so that you get this beautiful, the background image and the alignment and margin and padding. Those are the properties that I have included to get this style. So I will walk you through that. Then once that is done, so we'll focus more on our JavaScript code so that we can create this particular movie website in an easier, so very, very simpler, easier manner. So how we can implement this particular concept of DOM manipulation. So that we will be seeing in our movie project. Okay, so let's get started. And before we begin with the actual coding of creating a new movie and deleting a movie, so before we do that, I would like to walk you through the actual application. So let's get started on that. So before we get on to the coding and stuff, so I would like you to take a look at the final web page or the website that you would be creating. So let's take a look at that now. So this will be the website that you will be developing. So you can see that it's a movie web page. It's kind of a single page application because we are creating just one single web page for this particular demo. So you can create any number of pages you want later. But for this, we are just going to create one index.html. Now in this, if you can see, there is a list of movies here, popular movies. Yeah, so most of my favorites that you can see. And as I move my cursor, you can see that there is a purple color, like a border. That's actually a border that I have written in CSS. It's a border property. So you can see that on the left, which is highlighting that particular row. And you also can see a corresponding button in red, which is the delete button. So when I press, it's going to delete that particular movie. And you also can see a text box at the end of this page. And there is a green color button to add a new movie for this. So you can see the entire page has been styled in CSS. So it looks quite appealing. So I have given an image which emulates like a movie screen, movie theater screen. And there is a card that you can see. So this is the card. And so which has this title and a tagline. And all these have been aesthetically arranged here, as you can see. So there's a lot of CSS here, so which goes about to create the theme and style of any web page. So CSS is very, very important. So if you have to attract any, probable customer for your page or for your business, something that is very important, the entity that is very important is your style or your theme. So the CSS plays a major role over here. So I will show you the, I will have a code walkthrough of how I have styled using CSS. So let's try to add a movie over here. You also can see there is a placeholder tip also, text also over there. Let's go on with this movie. Yeah, the popular one. So let's say add, and you can see instantly now Avengers getting added at the end of this particular row. And you also can see that there is a delete button that got added automatically. So if I have to delete a movie, so you can see that it just goes off instantly. And I have to remind you, so this is not linked to any database, so it's not persistently stored. So if I have to refresh it, you get everything back. So this is just like stored in an array. So it's just a list of movies that we are just going to store in the page. So if you have to have these changes reflected, of course, you'll have to connect it to a database. So this is what we are going to do. So using the DOM and using the JavaScript features, so how are we going to add an entity or element to your DOM, and how are we going to delete it? So this is what you can expect out of this demo. All right, so here we are in the editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code. So this is the editor that I'm using currently. I do use other editors like Sublime, Brackets, WebStorm. So this is purely up to you. Whichever is the editor that you're comfortable with and you're already working, even if it is going to be Notepad++, or if you're from a Java background and you use Eclipse more, you can go ahead with Eclipse. So whatever is your editor, your preferred choice, you can go with that. Visual Studio Code, I've been working since the inception. So I'm also from the .NET background. So I've worked exhaustively with Visual Studio also. So here this editor is very comfortable in many ways. It is just not for JavaScript. You also can use VS Code for Angular or React or Python, any other type of technology that you choose, any type of web development, you can use Visual Studio. So it has a very nice, intuitive and simple user interface, and it has an integrated terminal, so where you can run your server also, and it has a very good debugging options with IntelliSense, and you can install packages on the go, and you can also use this particular space for deployment also. So it's pretty easy and comfortable. So if you prefer Visual Studio and you're from that background, or you have been using exhaustively for MEANstack or MERNstack, so you can use Visual Studio. Otherwise, it's completely up to your choice. So you can see that I have a folder which is called as DOM demo, where I already have 3 files there. So 2 of which is nothing but some pictures. So this is the background so that I'll be using. So if you could recollect, so I had shown you the web page with that theater background. So I will be using these 2 images for that. So you can take a look at it. So you can see this one, right? You could recollect that. So I will be using this for background, and where I will be listing out the movies. So I will be using this image. I will not be using the entire image. I will be cropping and I will be using it. And all the style to use these images for other style features also, for including those buttons and the rows. All these I have used CSS, cascading style sheet. And so this is the style that I will be including. So I will not be, explaining each and everything. So I presume, so you all have some basic knowledge of CSS and HTML. So what I have done briefly to get that style, I will explain it in a very concise manner, so that you will get an idea what feature I have included, and you can explore on your own these style features. So you can see that the background image I have added as this property, and the size, font family, and colors and spacing I have set. This is for the heading. And so you should be knowing about different types of selectors like ID selectors, tag selector, class selector. So this hash denotes the ID selector. So I will be using this ID selector when I'm creating my HTML page. So what I have done is for that particular, I'm creating one container. Okay, so for that container, I'm giving a name called as wrapper. So where this container is the one which is going to list out all the movies for us. So the margin, padding, border. Now these are very, very important. So if you want to have a evenly aligned, a readable, legible list or text or content, so you have to play around with these different properties of CSS. And you also can see that there is a page banner. So this is the outermost container. Then I will also be showing an image within that where the movie list will be displayed. And within that, I will be giving the top movies, that list. So for that and the paragraph or the tagline, so some of these alignment features and width and margin I have given. So you also can see that I have given certain elements with these IDs, movie list, and this is for the button add movie. Margin has been given there, and the list it's an unordered list. So unordered list, I don't want to specify any particular bullets there. So ordered list will be having like 1, 2, 3 or ABCD. Unordered, usually bullets will be displayed. So I don't want any bullets. So I'm displaying that as none. And so this is the one I have used for the list items that you can see. And by default, if I don't move the cursor, the border left, if you can recollect, I had one purple color one, right, which got highlighted only on the left border. So by default, I have made it as, gray. So, but when I hover so this is the pseudo list. So when I hover over it, so the state, it gets changed. So the color becomes purple here. And these are the style features that you can see for the delete button. So this is the delete button. So it's a class. So that's why it has this period symbol. And so what are the difference? So it has a radius. It has a rounded corners, that button. And the text is white. So all these. And again, like when I hover, so from red, it changes the background color. And you also can see this is the style for the add movie button. You can see that. So this is predominantly, it is in gray color. And so this is for the input, which is your text box. And this is the add movie button. So this particular button, so I have made it as green. And you can see the other features also. And again, so hover, it becomes like a dark green. So these things and all you can change, right? And for these label. So for all the elements that I will be creating now in the index.html, so this is the style that I'm going to apply. So you can go ahead with your own style. There is no restriction. So you can change the color, the alignment. You want to change the background layout. So completely up to you. So our focus is not CSS for this particular demo. So our focus is on the JavaScript's DOM manipulation. All right. So let's start creating our web page. So the first step, how do we create our web page, is by creating a HTML page. After we create a HTML page and set those content, the list of movies, we'll try to create the most important file, which is your JavaScript file. And we will connect all these together to your HTML file. So we already have the styles.css in place. So after we create our HTML page, we'll be creating the JavaScript page also, and we will be connecting all these three together. So here you can see there is an icon which states new file. And so let's give this name index.html, and you can see the icon gets magically changed over there. So I have a corresponding extension file which actually gives all these extension, the logos will be automatically updated. So you might not be having that by default. So if you want, you can just go ahead with your these extensions. You can see that. So you can see this. This is the one that I've already included, VS Code icons. So if you want to have those logos so that you have a clear picture of what you're creating, you will be able to do it. So here we also can create one more, which is your app.js. This is the one that you will be creating next. So you can see this JS icon also pops up nicely. So by default, you might not be seeing this icon. So, but if you have that particular extension, that file, you should be able to see it. All right. So inside my index.html, so let's start with our coding. So first thing, so you can see that very nicely, this IntelliSense is also popping up. Okay. So here I say that it is a HTML5 document. So the HTML document, earlier we had HTML4 version for many years. So recently it was upgraded, W3C, which is our World Wide Web, upgraded that to the next level, which is your HTML5. So here, this particular, the first line where it denotes the namespace, it's much more concise and precise now. Otherwise, if you know about, if you have already coded in HTML4, you will know the pain of writing that, lines and lines of that namespace. So the first line indicates that it is a HTML5 document. So now we'll have to specify the root element or the parent element or the outermost one, which is our HTML. So all our tags and elements goes inside this HTML tag. So we have this head and we also have the body. So head, as I told you earlier during the discussion, so where I was saying that all the metadata and other properties like your title and so if you want to link other files like your styles or your script, everything goes inside your head. Having said that, you also can include your script SRC anywhere inside your body. Also, you can have more than one script source also. Not necessarily that it has to be inside your head only. But we specify some metadata and other within your head elements. So here I'm including one character set here. So this is the default one, which is your Unicode. Okay, 8. So not mandatory, but you can include this one. And as I told you, we can also include your style and we also can include your script, but we'll do that later. So right now I'll just include my title, so which will be displayed on the web page title bar on the topmost one that you can see. I would say movie time, right? So now this goes inside the head. Inside our body, as I told you while we were going through this style, so we have already created this outermost container and I have given some name for that. So we will be using this in our HTML content. So where I'm going to create a div and all the ID so will be represented as hash that you will be using in your CSS. So you can see this one. So I've used this hash. It means that we'll have to use an ID over here. So let's say wrapper. Now this is going to be my outermost div and all other elements are going to be present inside this div. And inside my div, I'm going to have a header. So this is a HTML element header. And inside this header, I'm going to have the title. So which says movie time, and it also has a tagline I showed you in the finished web page. So those movie title as well as the tagline, I'm going to include it here. So inside my header, I'm going to have this one more div, and I've already created the style for this. So this will be the page banner. And inside my page banner, I'm going to have this title. So the movie title, I'm going to use H1 over here, and I'm also giving the class because I've already defined. And you also can define the style outside, or you can have a style inside the head that you can refer. So in that case, it would be referred as internal style. Now this will be external style. But if you want, you can also have an inline style. Say for example, I can include a style property here. So this will become the inline style of H1, which will have the highest precedence. So in this, I say I want to have a white color. So you can either pick from the text as such, or you also can give this hex value. So both are same. Then after that, so all your CSS properties are terminated by a semicolon, and it's separated with this colon, like this property name and the value separated by colon, and the statement, it ends with a semicolon. So here you specify whatever is the heading that you wish to display. And next, we will be giving the tagline. So let's also have an inline element for the tagline. So we'll be using the same thing, which is the white text. Since we are going to have a colored background, so we are using the white text here. So I'm copying and pasting it here. Yeah. So here, so we'll have to close this. Here, let's say a curated list of most amazing movies. So you can write your text like however you want. So however you want to display those taglines and the title. So I'm closing my paragraph here, and I'm also giving a break there. And so with this particular div, which is the page banner, so this is over. So I've created this page banner just to display. This is the entire thing is your header, you can see. So this is your div, which is your banner, and this entire thing is my wrapper. So I still have my list of movies that will be coming up here in this section. So this will be the title and the tagline. So after this header, I want to include a div which is going to be my movie list. So we'll call this movie list, and inside which I'm going to have the title again, something like a subtitle. So I'm using my H2, so where I say, again I give this title class, so which will be used in styling, and within which I will say movies to. So this will be the title for the list. So after which we are going to include our unordered list of movies. Now inside the unordered list, I'm going to have now, see, two things here. If you could recollect the movie page that I had shown, we will be creating the name of the movie in the row-wise format, and it will also be having the delete button. So you would be able to see that the delete button would be there, and so both elements have to be there for each movie list. So I will be specifying the name of the movie here, and I will also be specifying the delete button. So inside my list item, I'm going to have a span. Now this span, so I'll say, so it will have name, and where, let's include the first one, and done. And I will be including a span element for the delete button also. And I will just say delete. Okay. So let me copy this one because we are just going to use this for all this particular style for all our movies. So I'm copying this and I'm pasting maybe 4 or 5 movies. So 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so let's write whatever movies that you want over here. So let me just change these movies quickly. Okay, so all of my favorite movies, Inception again, yeah, and Stage, and okay. All right, so the last one, maybe I have included one extra, it's okay. Is Avengers, The Avengers or Avengers, okay, whatever. So I have included this 5 movies now. So with this movie list is over. So now next what we will do is we'll have to do one more thing before we move on to JavaScript file. So in this one we have to create our, we will be having a form element here. The main reason being we have to include a submit button so that I can inform the JavaScript module or the function, so which can handle the addition of new movie when I have to click on the add button here. So I'm giving a name for the ID. So this will be the form, so which will be the parent element, and inside the form I'm going to what we are going to have is we are going to have the button and also the input box. So the input, the text box we will be including, so you can see the list of input elements of your HTML. So we'll be selecting text, and we can have a placeholder. It's nothing but the text, so where I can specify, okay, so this should not be inside. Okay, so this is text. So the placeholder property where you can give some hint of what is supposed to be entered in that text box. So I'll say add so let's close this input box. Now this button, let's add. So now this is going to invoke the function which we will be adding in the JavaScript page. So with this, we have closed this form and we have also closed this div and the body. So with this, the HTML content, the code for the HTML content is ready. So if you have to see this page, so I have this option set up here. So open in default browser. So when I click this one, okay, so you can see this, and so if you're wondering why is this blank over here, you can see this here now. Yeah, it's the main reason is I've given white text because we'll have to include the style. We have not included the style yet, so just the HTML content, it looks like this. So it's not, it doesn't look so great, I know. So there is no JavaScript function also. but we can see that whatever content that we have mentioned, so it has been displayed properly. So the next step for us to do is to add the CSS and see if it matches the style that I had shown earlier. So if you have to add the CSS, so let's see. Okay, so we have now seen before adding CSS. So I keep saying about the importance of the style and theme also. So I know your content is ready, but it doesn't look so attractive. So how could you make it so engaging and so that the probable customer or your business user can start using your web page? So how can you make it much more engaging and attractive? Let's add this CSS and see if it creates a magic or not. I know this is not our prime focus, but CSS definitely helps. So the link is the tag that we will be using to specify the reference. So this is the reference where I have to add. So whatever is your CSS style. So this is an external style. So I use my href property to attach this external style here. So I'll have to include, so you can see that it gets listed. Yes. And it's not mandatory, but still you can mention that it is a style sheet. So CSS is the default style sheet, and JavaScript is the default scripting language for your HTML. So we have attached this now. Okay. So let us see again. Okay, look at that now. Look at that. So you can see this before CSS. So literally it is nothing. It doesn't look like anything at all. But you can see like after CSS. So if you are, if you have fancy taking for your fonts, if you love fonts, maybe you can change all these fonts. I've used some default fonts. So however you want, you can go ahead and change it. You can see that whatever we have given in the CSS that I've highlighted, it's now getting reflected in this new page. So you can see the difference between this and this. So that's why I opened another tab for you to see the difference. But nothing is going to work. So you can see that the hover, so you can see the red is changing into maroon, and this maybe not much of a difference, but you still can see. I would say if you're using CSS, don't change those text size and the alignment and placing, because there the effect that you will be getting where it will be like flickering a lot, and the alignment will be an issue. Always change the color or some highlight, those things, not the size and alignment. So you can also see like how nicely these rows are getting highlighted. So now whatever we add, so nothing is going to be coming on because we don't have a JavaScript functionality yet. So that is what we are going to see now next. So let's start our JavaScript coding, which will be the next module. Now let's start with the app.js, which will be your JavaScript file that you will be including and coding for DOM manipulation. So this app.js file has to be integrated inside your index.html. So how we have included our style, we will have to use another element, which is your script, and we have to include src instead of href. So that we will do it later. So now let's start creating this code for the app.js. So let's start with this document element, and we will have to do the coding for one of the event. So we'll be writing those functionality, whatever we have done. So we are going to create the event and attach your functionality for that particular event. So there are different ways by which you can do it. An event listener is one of the ways. So I can specify. So as you can see in this IntelliSense, this purple color box indicates that it is a method. So you can see that it is a method. And this blue brick that you see, so that is a property. So we'll be using this method. So I'm adding an event over here. So what is the event that we are going to add now? So we are adding this event which is called as the DOM. So I will explain. So what exactly is this? DOM content loaded. Now this event fires when the initial HTML document has been completely loaded and parsed. So without for other dependencies like your CSS files, style sheets, images, or any other elements to finish loading. So your original content, so if it is loaded and passed, this event will be fired. And the target for this event is your document itself, and that has to be loaded. And you can listen for this event on the window interface to handle it in the capturing, bubbling, or the tumbling phase. So JavaScript event has different type of phases also. When the event can traverse inside from your parent to your child so that it can be handled at that level also, it's called as your tunneling. And when it has to go upwards, so it will be like bubbling phase. So different ways by how your event can traverse and it can be captured. So there is another event which is called as load. Now that will be, you will not be using that for this particular purpose. So here I'm just using this event to check if the content, if that particular document, your HTML document is loaded without the other dependencies. That's what I said, without the style sheet or other features to be loaded. But another event is there which is called as just load, and it should be used to detect a fully loaded page along with style sheet and everything. So it's usually people confuse between this load and the document content loaded. So understand the difference. For load, it is like fully loaded, whereas DOM content loaded is only when the DOM features or the HTML content is loaded. So let's write the function for this. So we will be using this syntax. So first is this event name, and here we are going to include the function. So all of the function that we will be including, so it will be going inside this main function that I have. First thing that I'm going to do is create a variable. In this case, we will be creating a constant because we are not going to change anything. To capture where exactly these event and the functions will be affected. So in our case, the list, movie list is where we are concerned. We can add a movie, we can delete a movie. So we have to create entity which can refer to that particular list. So I'm creating. So you can use a var also. Here, since this is not going to be changing, so I'm using a constant. So I'm using this method which is called as your query selector, by which you can select that particular, the element, whatever element that you have created. So here I want to select my unordered list. So I'm using this movie. So it is present inside container which is called as your movie list. So inside which I'm selecting this unordered list, and that is getting stored in this list. So this is, it's like disabled or like grayed out because we have not used this list object yet. So when we use it, so it will be highlighted. I'm also going to create one more to store my form. So whatever forms, you can have like multiple forms also, and all the form elements I'm storing here. And so let's do the first one. Say if I have to delete my movies. So to delete these movies, I'm going to attach. So we have already created that list. So to that list, now I told you, right? So now if you start using it, it will be highlighted. So you can see that one. So I'm adding another event listener. So whenever I'm going to click that, I'm going to check if the user is clicking the delete button or he's clicking something else. So I'm using this click event. So I'm attaching an event handler I'm attaching over here, and then I'm also you can also pass on another parameter. So in this case I'm passing some parameter, which is, you can also name it as event also, or whatever name that you want. So this event parameter is nothing but all the metadata will be stored in that particular object, or the event object. So it will have all the necessary properties stored there. So you can find out the source of the event, you can find out the target of the event. So everything will be stored in the event object. So here I'm checking using my if condition. So I'm checking if the target, okay, so if the target element has, I told you the event object will have the source where it originated and which is the target. So here I'm checking if the class name is equal to delete, meaning if I'm trying to click on the delete button, I'm checking that. So if it is right, so if it is true, then I'm creating li, which is your list item, and I'm trying to remove that particular element there. So I'm saying the target, so I'm saying which is the parent. See, when I have to delete the element, it has to delete the entire li, right? Including the span, which is the movie text, also one more span which has the delete button. So I have to delete the parent element. So here I'm mentioning that I'm creating the li, which is the parent element, and now I say the parent node of this particular li. So I want to delete this. So to delete an entity in DOM, if you have to do it, you have an method which is called as your remove child. So you can see that. So the parent node along with your, so both your span, so the entire li element I have to remove. So I'm removing it like this. I'm calling this method which is called as your remove child, which is going to remove that particular li element. So now this is with your li. So here we have added this, and we are trying to delete it. So this is one of the functionality, and the next one that we have to do is add movies. So before adding the movie, so let's see if this is going to really work. So for that we have to include one more step. What is that? Yes, right, we have to attach it. So your index.html does not have this app.js linked yet. So let's add that. So here we'll be using script src is equal to, so this is my app.js, and let's include this one. So once you have included, so in my app.js, I have given the main DOM content loaded event. So underneath I have these different features included. One is the deleting the movie, one is deleting the movie, another one that we will be writing is adding the movie. So let's see if this is going to work or not. So go back to this. I've already added the script, and so you can open it, so or you can refresh the existing page also. Let us see if the delete button really works now. Yes, it works. So, okay, I just deleted everything, but as I told you earlier, this is not a permanent database that you will be like storing. So these does not get reflected in a persistent way. So when we refresh the page, we are going to get it back, but we can see that the deletion via DOM manipulation using JavaScript code has worked successfully now. So we are done with the first feature. So we will have to move on to the second one where we can add a new movie, and when we click on this button it has to be instantly added. Let us go back to the editor to add the next feature now. So let's get started with adding the new movie. So it's not like the straightforward delete feature. There are certain series of steps that is involved when we are adding a new movie. So first being to creating the elements, like whatever elements that we are going to add. So it's just not one text or the movie list. We also have to add the delete button along with that, right? So that would be the first one, and the second one would be to add the text content as such. So what is the text content or value? What is the new one? So the delete text and also the name of the movie. So that has to be added. And you can see that each and every it has a distinctive style property. The left a purple border when it is highlighted, and each row it also has a delete, which is like a red color button which is curved on the edges. So these different style features have to be included. So how do we do that? So that would be another step that we have to do, which is adding the classes. And finally, we will have to attach it to the DOM. So then you attach it to your DOM element. So let's start with the first phase. So all these elements now it's present in the form. So from the form we are trying to add the new movie, new element. So for that we'll have to capture the form. So form is in the form of an array. So each HTML element can have n number of forms. So we have already given the ID as add movie. For that form we just have one form. So we are retrieving that and I'm storing it inside my add form constant. Next, so I'm using this add form to add this event listener over here. So when the button, so here you can have all these events. So here I'm saying submit is the event. So submit is the most important event, so by which you can actually submit the value. Otherwise, whatever changes that needs to be captured will not be done properly. So I'm including this function. And again, I'm passing this event object, which is your E. So now here, I'm adding all these ones. So first one that I'm doing over here is to include your prevent default. This prevent default method cancels the event if it is cancelable, meaning that the default action that belongs to the event will not occur. Say for instance, if we have to use it when the user clicks on a submit button, but it has to prevent that clicking or submitting of a form, or there is a clicking on a hyperlink or something, but it should be prevented. So these default actions now, if you want to prevent, so you can use this one. So here we are going to use it because we don't want this to be literally bubbled up, and but you also have to note that not all events are cancelable. You can use the cancelable property to find out if some event is cancelable or not. And this particular prevent default method also does not prevent further propagation of an event through the DOM. So if you want to literally stop it, so there is another method which is called a stop propagation. So we are invoking this method first, and so let me just close this one also. And I want all these other feature to be included within this one. Okay, so first step after creating the capturing the form element, I want to create the other constants for these values and elements, the other elements. So first thing, I'm creating a constant called as value. Now here I am selecting using the query selector again, this method again, and I want to retrieve this input type. So where I say my text box, so I want to retrieve it. So where I say the type as text, so I want to retrieve the input type where the type is text. So be very careful with the quotes. So if you are using the double quotes as the outer one, just use it for that, and use an inner, for the inner quote use a single quote, so vice versa. So check on that and how it is closing. So otherwise it will not throw any error, but you will not be getting the value that you expect also. And the second constant that I want to create it is for the list item. So here I have the document, and here we are going to use this special method. You can see that there are so many number of create element, create even many create methods are there as a part of JavaScript DOM feature. So we are going to use this one create element, and I'm going to create a new li element because this is the one that we want, which needs to be added to the unordered list. And of course, we will have to create the corresponding variable or the constant for the name of the movie. So that has to be there, right? So I'll have to create that one. So that one again is, as you can see, it's a span. So I'll show you the HTML code here. So quickly, let's go. And so you can see this one. So this is what we are trying to create here in this feature. So I will have to create two elements over here. So one is for the movie, another span is for the delete button. So these two has to be created. So this is a span, and you can see that the class will have to add next. But this li element, we have to create it like this. That is what we are doing here. So I am creating a span. So one is for the movie name, and another one we have to create a delete button. So if we have to create a new record, so each record has a movie name as well as the delete button. So I'm going to create that as well. So in this one again, so what is the element that we will be creating? In both the cases, both are span, which is present inside li. So li is the parent element, and these two span will be the child element. So all these have been now created individually or separately we have created. Now we have to set the hierarchy. So we have to append these two as child of this li, and this li has to be attached to this body. So this one, so this appending will do it at the last, right? So first step, we have created this elements. So first we have retrieved the movie, and we have attached event listener for the submit button, and then in the second phase of creating elements, we have created. So we have checked if whatever is the value that the user is entering inside the text box. So using that, we are going to create it. So then we have created the li element, which is your list item, and then the span element for the movie name, span element for the delete button. So all these have been created. Now let's go to the next phase, which is to add the text content. So we have already received the value that the user has entered in the text box, and we are storing it in the constant called as value. So now that we have to attach it to this particular element, which is the movie name. Okay, so that will be the next one. So here I will say movie name dot. So it has this property, as you can see, which is called as the text content. So this is the span element. So if you have to create a text for that, So I'm saying that whatever the user has entered in the text box, that is stored in the value constant, so that I am storing it here, that I'm passing to my text content property of the movie name, which is nothing but the span that we have created. Now the second one, we have also created this delete button span, right? So content we have to create, so which is nothing but the text that will be displayed. So here we are creating the button as delete button. Okay, so however you want to create it, remove or the decaps, however you want to create, you can go ahead and create it. So now this step is also over. So first we have created this form, and then we have created all these elements, the corresponding li, and then the movie name span, delete button span, and then we have also attached the corresponding content for these two span elements. Now we have to add the style. So of course you can see like how it is displayed. So this one has a red color buttons, and then you can see the different these borders, so that we have already created in the external style sheet. This has to be updated here. So we are doing this. So I say class list dot add. So this is add. So we are adding the class name for the corresponding element that we have created, so that you get the style feature that we have already defined. Okay, by default it goes on with your add event listener. All right, so this is the class name. Okay, so we are adding it. So let's go to the style.css, and so you can see this delete and name. So all these are present over here, right? So all these are there. So I want to attach, so you can see this one, name and delete, it already has this one. So that we are trying to attach it here. So this step is also over. So we are attaching the class for the style or the theme purpose. Now final and most important one is to attach it to the DOM, so that all your content along all your elements along with those textual content added with those class properties with the CSS features, now it is all rendered onto your DOM in a proper hierarchical way. So that is now is very important. So that is the final step. So I am saying li. So now li is your parent element, right? So I am attaching my li. First, your li has to be attached to the list. I think we have already created this list, which is nothing but the unordered list. So this li has to be attached to the list, and inside your li, these two spans, your movie name and delete button, both has to be attached. So your movie name and delete button are the child elements of li, and li is the child element of your list. So it has to be attached. So first let's attach your movie name. So the child of your li, which is the first span, and I'm also attaching the delete button, so which is another span child, and finally I'm attaching the li, which is in turn a child of the list element. Okay, so here I say list dot append child, which is your li. Okay, but inside your li you can see the movie name and delete button. We can go to the index.html to check. So ul or the list is the parent element, inside which I have my li list item, and the li it becomes the parent for these two, which is the name of the movie and the delete button for each corresponding record. So these two child elements first we are attaching to li, and then this li we are attaching is to the ul. So that is what we are doing here, right? So this will be the final and most important step. So with this, we are done with our script. So make sure you save this one, and let's go back to this and refresh it once. Okay, so this delete button, it is working as usual. We have already seen that, and let's see if new movie can be inserted. Okay, let's say wow, now you can see that instantly new movie has been added at the bottom, and you can see the two span elements, okay, which is the child of this li. It gets added to the parent, which is the list item. So this is the outermost one, which is the ul or your list, and then each one is the child, which is your li. The li has two child, which is your movie name as well as the delete button. So we have first created these values, and then the classes have been added to ensure that the CSS is consistent. And then finally we use the DOM's append child. You can use your append method also to attach it so that this hierarchy is formed. So using DOM manipulation via JavaScript. So we have seen that so very powerful in a powerful way, and in a very simpler and effective way, how we can add new elements, new nodes, attach events, listen to events, and also to delete it. All these, it can be done so effectively. So you can keep adding more. You can try to validate this also, and say if I want to edit this, I want to edit the existing movies, even that it is completely possible. You can do that, or only the style if you want, you can change that style also. So everything just with JavaScript. So just with JavaScript, so how you can create the elements. So without the HTML content at all, you can just right from the heading to the footer to the content, everything you can create just with your JavaScript. So that is the power of JavaScript. So I think we have done quite enough with this DOM manipulation. So for a quick recap, we started with these three files. So style.css. So I walked you through the entire style and theme features I have incorporated. And we also had these two images already. So you can include, so this is just an overview guideline of how this DOM can be manipulated in one way. You are free to explore having this as a base, and you can just work upon how you want to carry on with your DOM manipulation. So we created first this index.html. So we created all the content, the head and body. And initially we didn't attach it with the style sheet as well as the script. Then we created those containers, the wrapper and page banner, so that we had the corresponding styles for all these. And we also created a UL, which is an unordered list with all these list items. So these list items internally, so it has, each one had two span. One is the name of the movie, another one is the delete button for the movie. And you also can see that last we have also added an input element for the text box where you can add the movie, and also a button to submit so that the new movie has been inserted. So after this, we created this JavaScript coding. So we started with the DOM content loaded, and first we saw the delete movie. We used the event listener whenever I click on the delete button. So based on the event object, I check for the target and I'm removing that particular element. So I'm using the remove child over here for deleting a movie or deleting any particular node as such. And we are using append child to add the movie. So these two are the important functions that you have to keep in mind. And in the second one, we added a movie. First, we created this form, we captured this, and then we created those individual elements, the li span for the movie name and delete button. And we also had those values that needs to be written, which was added. And then we added the class. And finally, we used the append child to append these two span element to the li. And then li, which is the child of your list, gets added. So that is how we saw this DOM manipulation. So I hope you all enjoyed this demo, and also your the concept of your DOM manipulation via JavaScript is clear to all of you. So hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.